Have you ever let a moment of anger ruin your entire day? A harsh word, a rude comment, and suddenly your emotions take control, leaving you lost and saying things you later regret. Why do we feel so powerless when emotions flare up? More importantly, how do we regain that control? The Stoics believe that your mind, not others or circumstances, is the true battlefield. They teach that true strength lies not in reacting more intensely, but in choosing not to react at all. Embrace calm over chaos, steadfastly refusing to surrender your peace to those unworthy. This video will guide you on how to never be angered or frustrated by anyone or anything again, not by suppressing feelings, but by reshaping your response. You will learn time-tested, practical techniques that allow you to pause before reacting, detach from harmful impulses, and master your emotions like a true warrior of the mind. Facing challenges doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Every man experiences anger and disrespect, but few learn to rise above it. This is where you can transform. If you've ever felt drained by your emotions running wild, this is for you. Like this video, subscribe for more Stoic strategies, and share it with those seeking peace. Understanding Stoicism means not just controlling anger, but becoming invincible. First, see emotional outbursts as habits you can break. You were not born angry. You were not born to snap at strangers on the street, slam doors, or replay heated arguments for hours. Those reactions, which now seem instinctive, are learned behaviors shaped by years of stress, wounded pride, and a world that pressures men to be tough, loud, and dominant. But true strength is far from noisy. It is found in silence. The most powerful man in the room is the one who remains calm, does not lash out, and refuses to let trivial matters disrupt his peace. Anger is not merely an emotion, it is a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken. But first, you must recognize its true nature, a chain reaction fueled as long as you feed it. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your boss belittles you. A loved one says something sharp, and before your mind processes it, your mouth responds. This is the cycle. Most men remain trapped in it their whole lives, mistaking it for their true nature. But Stoics see it differently. They don't regard anger as a character trait. They understand it as weakness in disguise. Epictetus once said, "He who is angry is a slave to anger." Harsh words, yet true. When you react blindly, you hand power to the very thing that provoked you. You become predictable, vulnerable to manipulation, and emotionally drained. Picture this. You're waiting in line at the DMV. An hour has passed. Someone brazenly cuts ahead. Anger rises within you. Your chest tightens, jaw clenches, and you feel the urge to lash out. That moment is your battlefield. You can keep fighting the losing battle, or pause and ask yourself a simple question. Does anger improve the situation? You already know the answer. You've been angry before. What did it bring you? Only more stress, regret, and distance from the man you want to be. This is where Stoicism transforms everything. You don't need to suppress emotions. You need to step beyond them. Imagine emotions like clouds drifting across the sky. Acknowledge them, but don't let them steer your course. The mind, the rational self, is the true driver. This is the power the Stoic builds through discipline. Many men believe their anger is justified, proof of their care. They see calmness as weakness or indifference. But the truth is the opposite. Getting angry is easy. What requires discipline, maturity, and true courage is maintaining calm when all around you seeks to shake your resolve. When someone disrespects you and you stand firm without flinching, that is real power. When life throws chaos at you and you remain unshaken, that is mastery. So the next time anger rises within, what do? You stop, breathe, remind yourself, this anger is a habit. I no longer need to carry it. Then you move on. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough not to waste energy on the unworthy. You are not here to be provoked. You are here to reclaim your power. This begins not by changing the world, but by changing how you respond. Respond like a man who commands his mind. Respond like a Stoic. Secondly, master yourself instead of trying to control others. Exploding in anger, shouting, kicking, or storming out is common when men feel affronted. They strike back to regain power, but that power is an illusion. It flares up quickly, fades just as fast, and leaves you weaker than before. True control does not come from overpowering others. It comes from mastering yourself in the heat of anger. Anger deceives you. It tells you that if you don't react, you are weak. That if someone pushes you, you must push back harder. Silence is surrender. But reconsider this. How many times has anger truly solved a problem? You shout, the other shouts louder. You prove your point, but lose the relationship. You win the argument, but lose your peace of mind. And in the end, you feel drained because you never truly controlled the situation. You were merely reacting. Now imagine this. You're in a meeting at work. Your manager unfairly criticizes your idea in front of the whole team, even arrogantly. You feel anger rising. Every part of you wants to respond, defend your honor, shoot him down. Yet something holds you back. A voice within whispers, if I respond now, it will only get worse. So you pause, breathe deeply. You say, thank you for the feedback. I will reflect on it. Then you move on. Later, in private, you speak with clarity, not emotion. This is control. This is true strength. This is the Stoic spirit. Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Understanding this, you discover real power. The Stoics reject letting ego dictate their actions. They believe in thoughtful responses over impulsive reactions, clarity over chaos. They grasp what many men have yet to realize: trying to control others is a losing battle. What you can always master is how you choose to present yourself. Many men err in thinking silence signals weakness, that walking away diminishes their manhood. But recall the last time someone lost control before you. Did you respect them more? Or did they lose stature in your eyes? Anger is loud. Respect is quiet. When you remain calm amid provocation, you become untouchable. That calm unsettles others far more than shouting ever could. The Stoic path does not mean never speaking up. It means choosing when and how to speak, not driven by rage. When you learn to delay reaction, allowing emotions to settle before action, you create space. And in that space, wisdom emerges. Your decisions become wiser. You hold fast to your dignity. Next time someone insults you, don't take the bait. They may act petty, but you remain steadfast. Not because you fear confrontation, but because you refuse to be swept into their storm. You stand above it, not for them, but for yourself. That is true control. Control is not about having the last word, but about keeping the last piece of yourself intact. Begin today. Don't try to command the whole room. Control your breath, your words, your expressions, your energy. You will emerge from every conflict with something many men never find: your dignity unbroken. And that is a victory no one can take from you. Third, cultivate calmness as a muscle through daily practice. You cannot expect peace amid chaos without first training your mind in stillness. This is a lesson many men overlook. They wait until anger or overwhelm strikes to try to control themselves. But emotional strength does not arise on command. It is forged. It is earned. It is built in quiet moments, unseen by others. Just as your body cannot grow strong without consistent training, your mind will not hold steady under pressure without daily practice. Mastery over yourself is not a switch to flip. It is a skill you craft. Imagine a man who has never lifted weights. Suddenly, he enters a gym and attempts to lift 300 pounds. He is crushed. Emotions are the same. If you've never practiced pausing, breathing, enduring discomfort instead of reacting, when life hits hard, you will fall. Not because you are weak, but because you are untrained. Now imagine this. You come home after a long day. Your child spills juice on your laptop. Your instinct is to yell, but something stops you. You have practiced this. Instead of reacting, you pause, breathe, say, "We will clean it up." That moment seems small, but it is not. It is a training session. It is strength in action. And this practice will steel you for far greater storms. Stoicism is not a philosophy for monks on mountaintops. It is designed for real-life soldiers, leaders, workers, fathers, those surrounded by pressure, noise, and conflict. It teaches that peace does not come from isolation. Peace comes from training the mind to remain silent amid the storm. And that process begins with the smallest things: rising early to reflect, journaling your thoughts before sleep, choosing silence over sarcasm when irritated. These are not empty rituals. They are exercises for your soul. Many men err by waiting until the fire tests them to prove they're calm. But it does not work that way. You prepare in advance. You build habits that sharpen focus, deepen your breath, and heighten your awareness. Because when pressure strikes, you do not rise with the event, but fall to the level of your training. The Stoic understands this deeply. Marcus Aurelius recorded daily what unsettled him, the challenges he faced, and how to respond better tomorrow. Not out of weakness, but a desire to become stronger. And Epictetus, once a slave, taught that discipline begins not with grand deeds, but with mastering daily thoughts and emotions. They cultivate calmness as a habit, not a fleeting reaction. If you seek to stop losing control when things go awry, start preparing before the storm hits. Sit with discomfort instead of fleeing from it. Notice your breath before you speak. Reflect at day's end, even if just for 5 minutes. These acts are far from insignificant. These are the exercises that forge your emotional resilience. No one is born calm, nor wakes fully in command of themselves. But a man committed to steady practice becomes unshakable. You build this calm as you build any virtue through effort, repetition, and time. Do not wait for the world to challenge you. Challenge yourself daily. For those who train the mind in stillness will triumph when chaos arrives. 4. Release what no longer serves you. You planned your day perfectly, rise early. Train. Work with mastery. Then traffic snarls. A meeting gets cancelled last minute. Your boss adds tasks without notice. Plan crumble. Frustration rise quickly. The tightness in your chest, the heat in your throat isn't caused by the event. It's caused by resistance to it. You're not angry because things changed. You're angry because you believed they wouldn't. But the world cares nothing for your schedule. Life never asks permission before shifting course. The more you cling to how you want things to be, the more you suffer. This is not weakness. It is attachment. Unchecked attachment becomes a trap. The man who demands perfection to stay calm will never know peace. Letting go is not surrender. It is discerning what isn't worth holding on to. It is learning to distinguish what lies within your grasp and what slips beyond control. No matter how tightly you cling, the Stoic understands this better than anyone. They do not waste energy on traffic, rudeness, or changing plans. They conserve strength for what they truly command: character, mindset, and response. So, when something disrupts your day, resist immediate reaction. Step back. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, do not pour more energy into it. Let it pass like a passing storm. You are not ignoring reality. You are choosing not to be swept away. This is not denial, but discipline. Many men err by believing control means forcing the world to bend to their will. True control is the power to adapt. Strength is not commanding obedience, but maintaining composure when it resists. This is why Stoicism is not passivity but precision. It does not mean you stop caring, but stop wasting effort on the unchangeable. Picture yourself in a parking lot. A stranger backs into your car, leaving a dent, then walks away indifferent. You want to rage, demand justice. But after the initial surge of emotion, you pause. Ask yourself, will anger fix this dent? Will it make him care more? No. So you file the report and remain calm. You preserve your energy and drive away, not just with a dented bumper, but with your dignity intact. That is the true victory. Not because you forgive him, but because you refuse to let him steal more than a scrap of metal. He cannot take your peace, your quiet night, or your health. Those remain yours, because you know how to let go of what isn't worth keeping. The strength of a Stoic is quiet. It does not cling but releases. And within that release lies true mastery. So, regularly ask yourself, is this worth holding in my mind? If not, let it go. A man who knows what to keep and what to release will not be shaken by every storm. He passes through storms with calm, clarity, and steadfastness. And that man, even amidst chaos, keeps control. 5. Transform conflict into a test of personal character. You cannot avoid conflict. If you live, work, and connect with others, if you build something real, you will face challenges, misunderstandings, slander, or boundary tests. Such is life. But most men approach conflict emotionally. They see it as a threat to pride, a chance to win or prove themselves. They get tense, loud, and try to overpower. In doing so, they miss the true nature of conflict. It is not a challenge to your power, but a mirror reflecting it. Conflict reveals where you lack control, where ego dominates, You remain a slave to others' opinions. Thus, the Stoic views every confrontation, insult, and injustice not as a problem, but an opportunity to train the mind by resisting the noise. Imagine that. You stand at the hardware store counter, patiently waiting as the clerk serves someone else. Suddenly, a man behind you pushes forward, brandishing a receipt and demanding to be served first. He raises his voice. Everyone turns to look, and your heart races, jaw clenched, ready to explode. Yet, you do not give in. Instead, you retreat inwardly. You ask yourself, what is truly at stake? My time, my pride, or my peace of mind? And in that moment, you choose not to yield, but to rise above it all. This is not weakness. It is strength wielded with precision. Many men mistake calmness for surrender. Remaining silent does not mean allowing others to crush you, but to be ruled by emotion, that is the true loss of power. The Stoic man does not shy away from conflict. He simply refuses to be controlled by it. He speaks when necessary, but never with anger. His words carry weight because he understands the only thing worse than being disrespected is to lower himself to satisfy that disrespect. The more you view each challenge not as a battle of right or wrong, but as a test of who commands the situation, the stronger and more unshakable you become. Conflict ceases to be a battlefield and becomes a training ground. You stop wasting energy on petty disputes. You do not allow small-minded people to shrink your world. Instead, you use every moment to fortify your resilience. Marcus Aurelius lived by this principle. He ruled an empire amid betrayal, war, and political turmoil. Yet he chose tranquility. He did not seek revenge. He pursued integrity, knowing each interaction was an opportunity to practice self-mastery, not once, but every day. Men who live this way do not merely survive conflict. They move through it unscathed and unchanged. The next time someone tries to rattle you, try this. Instead of reacting with anger, remain silent. Instead of proving a point, conserve your energy. Do not let their chaos become yours. Become the calm they cannot touch. Not to impress, not to be liked, but because you have trained yourself to rise above what is unworthy of your downfall. You are not here to respond to every insult. You are here to sharpen your character. Every moment of conflict is an opportunity to do just that. Respond with control. That is how you win. Each time you do, you prove something far greater than mere dominance. You prove you have mastered the toughest battlefield of all yourself. Now, be present. It is your imagination that fuels your anger, not the moment itself. Your mind races 10 steps ahead or spins back into the past. You are not angry because of what was said. You are angry because of what it means, what might come next, what it says about you, or how you should respond. The noise inside your head. This noise is the root of most of your pain. Until you learn to stop living in the past or the future, you will continue to lose control over the one moment that truly matters. Gentlemen rarely speak of this, yet it happens constantly. Someone cuts you off in traffic. It's just a brief annoyance. But in your mind, you replay it for 30 minutes afterward. You imagine confronting the offender, yelling, asserting dominance. You carry that burden into your next call, your next meeting, even your dinner table. The moment has passed, yet your mind drags it like a chain. This is how small things become heavy burdens. You never learn to let go in the moment. Stoicism cuts through this mental chaos like a blade. It teaches you that you only have the present, and in the present, there is no insult, no imagined outcome, no past to fix. There is only breath, action, and choice. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to return to the present whenever his thoughts strayed. Each time, he reminded himself, "You could leave this life at any moment. Let that truth guide what you do, say, and think. Not tomorrow. Not after you win the argument. Now." The common trap is believing your thoughts are facts. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Most of what you react to isn't real. It's imagination. The Stoics understood that an uncontrolled mind is the source of needless suffering. Your imagination, if left unchecked, creates enemies that don't exist and conflicts that never happened. Try this. You enter a conversation with someone you dislike, prepared for conflict, expecting disrespect. The tension comes not from their words, but from the future you've built in your mind. Stop. Come back here. Stay in the moment. They might say something rude, or maybe not. Either way, you will handle it better with a steady mind rather than a clouded one. That is why mindfulness is not just empty talk. It is a tactical advantage. It helps you keep your head clear when your instincts want to stir chaos. You don't need to sit cross-legged for hours to achieve this. Simply be aware of your breath, your posture, the sounds around you, the feeling of your feet touching the ground. Whenever your mind begins to weave stories, gently bring it back here. Train this like a muscle to remain present. In doing so, you cease overreacting to things that aren't truly happening. You stop reliving what cannot be changed. You cease repeating what need not be spoken. You begin to respond not from anxiety or fear, but from presence. This is your sanctuary. This is where your strength resides. You cannot control what has passed, nor what is yet to come. But you hold command over this moment. And if you learn to hold the present, even for a few breaths, you do more than practice Stoicism. You live freely. This freedom is a power no one can ever strip from you. 7. Release the burden of resentment before it ages you. Resentment poisons not only the mind, but also wears down the body. You have seen it, a man, weary despite rest. One who walks heavily, though bearing no weight. One who shrinks from kindness, hardened by betrayal. This burden is not physical, it is emotional. The longer you clutch anger, blame, and bitterness, the more your energy, clarity, and capacity for peace diminish. Most men remain blind to this slow erosion. They believe silence means healing, but silence alone does not heal. Holding back words does not mean it does not affect how you speak, trust, or live. The grudges you carry from 5 years past weigh on your shoulders even as you sleep. They ignite your temper at the slightest touch to your limits. This is why the Stoics saw forgiveness not as a moral duty, but as an act of self-preservation. To let go is not to reconcile with what happened, but to refuse its continued dominion over you. Every fragment of resentment you cling to steals the peace of now. No one deserves that power over your life, not even the one who wronged you. Epictetus said, "You may bind my feet, but no one, not even Zeus, can conquer my will." That is forgiveness, not acceptance or forgetting, but refusing to be shackled from within. Recall the moment someone crossed your boundary. Perhaps they lied, walked away, or humiliated you before others. You vow never to forget. And perhaps you shouldn't. Yet each time you think of them, your stomach tightens, your energy fades, and peace slips away. That is not strength. It is self-inflicted torment. You relive their offense long after they have moved on. And that is the trap. Believing that holding on will protect you, when in truth it only weakens you. The Stoic does not wear anger like armor. He lets it go like fire burning in his hand, knowing it scorches the bearer most. Forgiveness does not mean trust restored, but reclaiming space in your heart for something better, lighter. And it all begins with a choice. Refuse to nurture the story of their wrongs any longer. Each recollection deepens the wound. So stop rehearsing the pain. Start guarding your energy. You are in the break room. Someone makes a cutting remark. You know it's an attack. You can respond. You can carry it home. Talk it over with friends. Let it swirl in your mind, late into the night. Or you can smile not from weakness, but because you choose not to bear a burden that is not yours. You breathe. You step outside and leave behind all the weight. This is not passivity. It is power in control. Knowing what deserves your energy and what does not. And as you begin to release resentment, you will feel it in your gait, your sleep, your clarity of thought. Forgiveness is no favor to them. It is a gift you give yourself. Let go not for their sake, but so you stop dragging the past into the present. You have many lives ahead, more than behind. Make room for them, for the man who walks lightly moves faster, breathes deeper, and lives freer. And you can be that man if you are willing to lay down your burdens. 8. Pause before you react. This changes everything. It happens faster than you think. A word, a tone, a fleeting remark, and you are nearly shouting or slamming the door. When you realize you are angry, that reaction has already seized you. Most men live on autopilot, triggered by outside forces, stretched thin by inner pressures. And in the brief moment between spark and flame, they lose their power. But what if that moment became your moment of control? Stoicism begins in the pause, the space between event and your next move. That is the battlefield, not in arguments or insults. The true fight lies in that breath. In that small moment, you choose. Will I respond as I always do? Or as the man I aspire to be? Most never see that distance. Emotion outruns reason, but when you begin to see it, you reclaim control and realize how often you have thrown it away. Imagine you are at home. Your teenage son talks back, his tone and gaze cutting deep. Anger rises within you, yet something holds you back. You take a breath and say, I will respond later. That is true power, not silence born of fear, but deliberate restraint. You have just interrupted a cycle repeated for years in millions of homes, and now you are crafting a new story. The mistake is believing that quick reaction earns respect. Hesitation is seen as weakness, but in those 2 seconds, you gain clarity. You give your mind time to process, decide, and aim true. This is the art the Stoics cultivate, not to become numb, but to master the moment. Marcus Aurelius did not say, do not feel. He said, do not act without greater purpose. That purpose often begins with silence. Our world demands instant reaction, text immediately, reply instantly, defend yourself without pause. Yet emotional discipline is not speed, it is precision. Speak at the right time, with the right words, and the right tone. You cannot achieve this if adrenaline speaks for you. You must pause. Breathe. Name your feelings before they become your regret. No years of meditation required. Just one decision. When pressure hits, you stop. Tell yourself, no need to react now. Step into another room. Breathe deeply 10 times. Ask, what outcome do I seek here? Only then do you speak. Your actions arise not from ego, but from intention. A Stoic man is not cold, but clear-headed, not slow, but composed. He does not suppress emotions, but commands them. In that pause, he sees more consequences and opportunities and steps forward with steady hands. From now on, treat every tense moment as training. When your heart races, face flushes, or hands clench, do not act yet. Let the moment settle, then decide how to master it. One who controls the pause wins not just arguments, but himself. This is a victory worthy of pursuit. Now you know. You are not a prisoner of feelings. You are not bound by anger, resentment, or the urge to react. What the Stoics teach, and what men like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus lived, is that calm comes not by chance, but through practice. Self-control is not denial, but discipline. Peace is not weakness, but strength forged in silence. We have learned that anger is a habit that can be broken. True power lies in self-mastery, and emotional calm is a muscle built through daily choices. You have seen that letting go is not surrender, but wisdom. Staying present is the best defense against pressure. And in each tense moment lies a pause where character is forged. This is not theory, it is your life. It shows in how you respond to your partner. Stand firm in meetings. Quietly withdraw from chaos. And hold fast to your values. Every moment is an opportunity to practice. The more you train, the more natural it becomes. This is how you become unshaken by turmoil and begin to stand invincible. I invite you to start today. Train your breath. Guard your words. Master the pause. And build a mind unshaken by what lies beyond your control. If this message resonates, share your story in the comments. What recent moment tested you? What did restraint teach you? We learn through reflection and grow by helping others do the same. For, ultimately, the man who masters himself, his thoughts, reactions, and energy is the man who masters his life, and that is enduring strength.